You're lying in the dark again, phone face down, heart still racing from a conversation that ended hours ago. You keep replaying the last thing they said, searching for the soft landing that never came. Your chest feels tight, like someone is sitting on the quiet part of you that used to know how to breathe. That tightness is not weakness. It is the residue of attachment that was never safe. Let me explain why most people never escape it. You were taught that love means staying open no matter the cost, that cutting someone off emotionally is cold, that distance is cruelty. So you stayed available, you answered late texts, you explained yourself one more time, you waited for the version of them that only existed in the beginning. And every time you did, a small piece of your self-respect went missing. Here's the truth most people refuse to face. Emotional detachment is not the absence of feeling. It is the refusal to let someone else's chaos become the weather inside your body. You think you're still processing. You're not. You're bleeding energy into a connection that already decided your value was negotiable. This isn't random, it's psychology. When someone intermittently rewards you with warmth and then withdraws, your nervous system learns a dangerous lesson. Love equals uncertainty. Your brain starts treating inconsistency like oxygen. You chase the high of the return instead of noticing the pattern of the leaving. That is not romance. That is conditioning. Real life example. She used to light up when he walked into the room. Then the light became selective. Some days he was present, curious, soft. Other days he was distant, short, unreachable. She told herself he was stressed, busy, healing. She adjusted her expectations downward so the relationship could survive. She stopped asking for what she needed because asking made her look too much. She started managing his moods instead of protecting her peace. And every time he came back with a soft apology or a temporary closeness, her body flooded with relief so strong it felt like love. It wasn't. It was the temporary removal of pain she had started calling home. That's not love, that's control. Subtle, quiet, effective. Emotional detachment begins the moment you stop negotiating with that cycle. You do not announce it. You do not write long messages explaining why you're pulling back. You simply stop feeding the dynamic your attention, your explanations, your hope. You stop checking if they viewed your story. You stop rewriting the last conversation in your head at 2 a.m. You stop offering the benefit of the doubt to behavior that has already shown you its pattern. At first, it feels brutal. Your chest will ache. Your mind will invent reasons to reach out one last time. That ache is not proof you should return. It is proof of how deeply the attachment wired itself into your system. Detachment is the slow rewiring. You start choosing yourself in the smallest moments. You notice the urge to text and you sit with it instead. You feel the loneliness rise and you let it move through without scrambling to fill it with the wrong person. You begin to trust that emptiness is cleaner than the version of connection that kept you small. Something shifts when you do this long enough. The person who once held so much power over your emotional weather starts to look ordinary. Their silence loses its weight. Their occasional warmth no longer feels like salvation. You realize the intensity you mistook for depth was often just instability wearing a beautiful face. And in that clarity, something stronger grows. You become harder to manipulate because you are no longer desperate for external regulation. You become quieter, but the quiet is no longer empty. It is chosen. You stop explaining your boundaries because people who respect themselves rarely need to justify the space they require. Emotional detachment is not becoming cold, it is becoming precise. It is the difference between loving someone and needing them to complete the version of yourself you abandoned. It is the moment you decide that peace is more valuable than the performance of being chosen. Most people will call this selfish. They will tell you that real love requires sacrifice, patience, endless understanding. They will say this while still bleeding from connections that never learned how to hold them carefully. You are allowed to disagree with them. You are allowed to protect the soft parts of you without apology. You are allowed to walk away from dynamics that only function when you are the one absorbing the cost. The power of emotional detachment is not that you stop caring. It is that you stop bleeding for people who treat your blood like decoration. You start reserving your depth for those who meet it with consistency. You start recognizing that the right connection does not require you to abandon yourself in order to keep it. And one night, maybe months from now, you will lie in the same dark room, phone still face down, but the tightness in your chest will be gone. In its place will be a quiet that finally belongs to you. That quiet is not loneliness, it is sovereignty.